Hey, so hello, this is Brian, and what who I have here is Jim Rohde, old friend of mine, and known for about 5-ish years at least. And Jim is the wonderful assistant director for undergraduate admissions at DePaul University, a university I have great fondness for that does a lot of amazing things. And when I think of DePaul, actually, what I think of are happy students, and year in year out, and voted I think number one for just satisfaction, like student satisfaction, and but DePaul, located in beautiful downtown Chicago. Some things they're known for that stand out, that at least that come to mind for me, are stellar academic programs in general, but business also is one of those that's a standout that I know is a popular program for students. But also just career readiness. DePaul does an incredible job of preparing students for life after college and ensuring that they are ready to excel in every way, like whether it be for grad school or for jumping straight into a career after their bachelor's degree completion. But what comes to mind for me as well is just their standout transfer friendliness that is, I think, second to none in the country from what I've seen. So,
Mhm.
but thank you, Jim, for being a part of this.
Well, thank you very much, Brian. And again, my sincere appreciation to you for everything that you're doing to bring the transfer experience to Oakton students in light of everything that's kind of been going on recently in the past few months and beyond. So for the past 5-ish years, as you said, as you and I have been working together, I appreciate everything that you've done. You've been an invaluable resource to transfer students at Oakton and everywhere. So thank you again very much for this opportunity. Great to be here. So you talked a little bit about how we're a transfer-friendly institution. We really, we're very proud of the fact that DePaul is the largest Catholic institution in the entire country. We've got about 13,000 undergraduate students, 23,000 total students, including graduate students. And actually this past year, about 50% of the students that walked across the stage at DePaul and received their degrees started their time and their career at DePaul as a transfer student. So that's a great thing to say about a school as large as we are. We have a lot of transfer resources for those types of students. We've got a lot of opportunities for them to succeed, whether it's going to be in our transfer student union, transfer ambassadors, or in our career center as well. So we have about 50 events per quarter that our career center puts on that prepares students for interviews, whether it's resume writing critiques to job fairs, internship fairs, or even if you just need a space to do your like an interview. If you're doing a Skype interview or if you're doing a Zoom interview, they have spaces that you can use on campus that are private, that have the resources you need, the phones, the computers, the technology, everything that you need to set yourself up for success in that regard. So I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of the fact that so many of our students here at DePaul started their careers as transfer students. Oakton, I know, is very transfer friendly in that regard for students of just about any major. They've got a lot of really great gen eds. We really encourage students to pursue that associate's degree so that they can take care of as many of their gen eds as possible and hopefully come in with junior standing. We've got a lot of different combined degree options as well for our students. And I'll say something else about our veteran population. DePaul has about 600 veteran students that are enrolled right now. And I can't say enough about these remarkable young men and women. I mean, this DePaul is the -1 destination in the city of Chicago for veteran students. And we are the #1 destination among private, not-for-profit institutions in the state of Illinois for veteran students. We have a veteran student lounge. We have veteran student liaisons, which is a staff of current veteran students who are there that are willing to assist any student, not just with their benefits and how they apply to DePaul, but also navigating like the VA, like if you need help getting your disability rating taken care of, or if you need help navigating the VA in any other respect. They're a great resource. I strongly encourage any veteran student to also get involved in our Student Veterans Union, which I'm the advisor for. and also take advantage of our Student Veterans Lounge. We've got a lounge at DePaul that is specific for DePaul veteran students, but also for their family members, their spouses, their wives. We do have people who utilize that who have loved ones that are currently deployed as well. So we just want to make this a great community for those students who really bring a lot to our campus. So again, thank you, Brian, for this opportunity, and yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, listen, I love that you touched on as far as the veteran population, and it is that's a population that's sometimes it can be difficult to find, resources or a community within a higher education institution, and but it's a group of people that are so invaluable as far as their addition to adding to is from that value standpoint to a community. And so it's always refreshing to hear of an institution that does a really good job in serving those students. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. And I think it says a lot about DePaul that they have someone in the admission office who has a military background as a veteran himself and can really speak to students in the way that, has had the same experience that a lot of these students have had. And that's who they want to hear from. So I think that's a fantastic showing of DePaul's investment in these students. So.
Totally agree. So as you know, I mean, as we look at today, June 5th, 2020, and we're creeping up to fall quarter for you guys, and in this current climate, there's so much uncertainty, and students are I would hazard a guess are feeling so much anxiety as it concerns the upcoming academic year, and with just a global crisis in a pandemic. And I would really appreciate if you could touch on what should prospective students in this climate know about DePaul in light of COVID-19.
Absolutely. So, well, DePaul is still kind of, as any institution is, as of June 5th, still kind of working through a lot of the answers to the questions that many have. But we do have a pretty good plan, I think, in place right now for what we're hoping is going to, what will be taking place, actually. We're going to be having kind of a combination of online and online courses this coming fall. And what that means is we've got a few different types of online modalities that are going to be available to students. There's going to be online async, online sync, and online hybrid. So when we're talking about online async, for example, this is what you would think of when you think of a typical online course. So these are going to be courses that the course content, assignments, structured opportunities for you to interact with your classmates, and everything is done once a week. So you don't meet at a specific time on a specific day. It's meant to be flexible with like your schedule. So we will have some online async offerings. There will also be online sync offerings where these classes are online, but they still meet at a specific time on a specific day, and the instructor will be there live with all the students meeting live using a meeting tool such as Zoom or something along those lines. And then there's going to be the online hybrid option. So this will kind of merge the two. Maybe one week you might meet at a specific time, another week you might just have your project to work on. Maybe the professor will say, okay, meet with your group virtually this week. So we will have that option as well. And then, like I said, there will be some on-campus course offerings as well. And DePaul is ready to respond and is already making plans to be respectful of social distancing guidelines. We're making sure that our classrooms are going to be able to fit students that are not necessarily sitting right next to each other, that students are spaced out, that classrooms have, two entrances. This one will be made for people to walk in. This one is for people to walk out. So that way people can still respect the social distancing boundaries and guidelines that everyone is trying to adhere to right now. going forward, nothing is stopped. I know it feels like a lot is stopped, but DePaul, we're continuing to move forward. This coming fall, we're ready to offer some new majors, such as the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Industrial Design offered by our College of Computing and Digital Media. We're rolling out some new minors in sports communication, as well as business and entrepreneurship. So we're really excited about those as well. And we're also poised to actually bring in one of the largest classes in DePaul history. So I think that the fact that DePaul has been so responsive to COVID, the way that we've been responding to everything, and not only that, but also the value of DePaul's degree, really is all of that is a testament to the fact that that so many students are still wanting to come in and get their degrees from DePaul. So we will be offering an array of options, and students will know what that looks like when they come to orientation, when they meet with their advisor, and when they're registering for classes. So all this is available on our website on the Student Success page. If you just Google DePaul Student Success course modalities, you'll be able to see the differences between the online courses and the on-campus offerings that we're going to be providing to students this coming fall.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I know that so outside of people that work in higher education, it can be really confusing as far as just like knowing all that goes into making decisions like that. And and I think it kind of goes by the wayside, just all the different stakeholders and players involved that exist within such a complex entity as a college university. And I also appreciate the fact that you broke down what asynchronous and synchronous means, because another thing that exists within a college university is jargon, and so it can be confusing to go through that. But yeah, so thank you for shedding light on how you guys kind of went through that decision process. Okay, so with respect to the fall quarter, and right now, I mean, it's I think as students kind of navigate this gray area as far as what the fall looks like, and not looking at the whole landscape of all colleges and what is going to happen. Could you describe, how is the fall quarter really shaping up? You touched on the fact that, how some of the different modalities, what those will be for the fall, but what gets you excited for this academic year, especially in the midst of not a lot of, when people think of this time right now, it's not necessarily looking at it as like a happy time, but what would get you excited for this upcoming academic year?
Well, so a couple of different things. Number one, we're responsive to the COVID crisis in the sense of, a lot of people are like, well, my financial situation has changed. We've frozen tuition for this coming year. Typically, any university is going to have, like a 2 to 5% increase in their tuition from one year to the next. For us, we're not changing anything. We're keeping it exactly the same as it has been in the past. Like I said, I really think that DePaul has responded positively to the COVID crisis. Actually, this past fall, with regard to everything that's been going on, or excuse me, this past spring, with regard to everything that's been going on, DePaul is, trying to alleviate some stress from a lot of our students. Actually, there was a student petition that was submitted to our student affairs office that they responded to just yesterday by our provost, which is now giving students a lot of flexibility and making a lot of their final exams optional. So a lot of professors are making those adjustments to students who are dealing with, a lot of things that are larger than the next couple of weeks right now. So DePaul's a very responsive, or I should say they are a very good university that listens to their students and their student body. So I really appreciate the fact that they've been doing that. A few things, like students here at DePaul, one thing I always tell them, or one thing I always tell people when they're thinking about DePaul is, DePaul's a university where when you come to Chicago, maybe you've never been here before, or maybe you grew up down the street from DePaul. This is a place that asks you to be to be able to be adaptable. And so I think a lot of our students were very successful this past spring in being adaptable to a change to online learning. So were our professors, so were our staff. Everyone adjusted to this pandemic very quickly, and that includes who we all work for, which is our students. Our students adapted to an online environment that they were not expecting. And I really appreciate that. And I think that DePaul met them where they were, understood what they were going through, and made the adjustments that they could as much as possible. I think that that's one of the things that college is ready to teach you, because you look at every employee at DePaul. What this teaches you is that when you get into the workforce, there's going to be changes that are made to your career as well. Like I had to adjust to working from home. So this teaches you to make those adjustments when you get into the work world. So the fact that our students responded so positively to that, and that students are prepared to go into the fall ready to be adaptable again, I think is great. With us bringing such a large class, I think that that's fantastic. And it says a lot about the type of student that we're really looking for when it comes to who's going to be successful at DePaul. So yeah, I would just say that I think that I've been very happy. A lot of students have been also submitting their unofficial transcripts because they were unable to get their official transcripts from their previous institutions. So from an admission standpoint, we did say, okay, if you are unable to get your official transcripts, we will take your unofficial transcripts for the purposes of admission in light of this unprecedented pandemic that we're all facing. So I think that this has been a great experience for all of us. It's been a learning experience, no doubt, for everyone, myself included. And I think it's made everyone a lot stronger and a lot more flexible, a lot more adaptable to a changing environment.
Well, that's really appreciated. I know for students, and I think what you've touched on. Well, first off, I mean, higher education in general, I guess, kind of a bad rap, and justifiably so, as far as the expense, involved. So to hear of, some of the efforts that DePaul is making to really meet students where they're at, and showing that flexibility as far as the exams, and then also from a cost standpoint, freezing that tuition for the upcoming academic year, that really says something as far as trying to serve your student population. So that's refreshing here.
Absolutely.
So aside from just DePaul, I'm curious, because you are a higher education professional. You've been around, you've seen a lot, and I'd be interested to hear just for the fall in general, for students that are considering colleges, just period. Aside from just DePaul. What would your advice be? I mean, given this climate, for those students that are trying to make that college decision and get ready and start in the fall?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is, find out when you're going to know what classes look like, right? I mean, DePaul's got this on our website, like what types of modalities we're going to be offering. See, is your campus going to be entirely online in the fall? Is it going to be on campus? What's it going to look like? And if it is online, what type of online? Does that mean once a week? Does that mean twice a week? Same time frame? How are they adjusting? Is it going to be remote in the sense that, I'll just put everything online on Sunday night, then it's due by the following Sunday or something like that? Or is it going to be truly I'm meeting live with my professor and the other students in my class, and that's how it's going to look? Find out what those are going to look like. The other thing too, and I'm getting this question a lot from students, like, about how fall is going to look like. And that's of course fair. Like, everyone wants to know what fall is going to look like. But what I would say too is look beyond fall. Remember that this is hopefully not going to be forever, right? Hopefully by January of 2021, we're back and everything is how it was before. So think about things in terms of, where do you want your degree from? A year from now, if you don't have your bachelor's degree yet, where do you want to be studying? What type of experiences do you want? What institutions are going to be able to offer you internship opportunities? What institutions are going to offer you the opportunity to meet with your career center, your advisor, and ultimately, at the end of your time, that you've put in, where do you want your degree to be from? What do you want that diploma to say? What do you want to put in your resume in 20 years? So remember that, this is not forever. I always want to remind students that, this is very tough right now, but that's the thing. It's right now. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, we are back to full operations. And so think of it almost in terms of, what would I have asked a year ago? Continue to ask those questions. Make sure that you're getting those types of questions answered about internship opportunities. What types of classes would I be taking? And what is my career success going to look like? I think it's about 90% of DePaul students within 6 months of graduation are employed in the career field or are in graduate school. So, please take a look at the statistics like that. Anything that you are curious about, that you were curious about before, they're still relevant today. So please remember all those types of questions that you've been asking, and please continue to ask those questions right now.
That's fantastic, because what I've commented before for students and for those in the college search process is that that doesn't happen in isolation, or shouldn't happen in isolation. And so knowing where to find those resources, like you talked about, the website, and really just this requires self-reflection, but also, as you said, finding out. And how do you find out about that? And that's something also I appreciate as far as your professionalism and commitment to students, is that you yourself are a resource, and there are resources out there, and that there is a community, and there are people out there in this industry that their job is to help students get to where they want to go. And so I appreciate that, as far as looking big picture, not just this upcoming term, but look at the winter or spring quarters, and beyond just this short kind of period, hopefully short period, as far as this terrible COVID-19 season. So I appreciate what you touched on there. So,
Absolutely.
so last question would be, for students that are trying to, you had mentioned the COVID-19 page on DePaul's website, and I'll include some links, at the bottom of this video. Where should students go as far as finding out more information about DePaul?
Yeah, if they just go to DePaul.edu. Yep, if they just go to DePaul.edu, there will be information. Actually, it's DePaul.edu, and then when they are on the website, they can click on the very top. That'll have some good information about COVID, kind of what our response has been. But if they go to go.depaul.edu/COVID, there will be some COVID-19 updates and guidance that will be listed there.
Fantastic. Well, I can't thank you enough, Jim, for doing this. You are the consummate professional, and just a great guy in general. And so listen, be safe, and thank you once again.
Thank you, Brian, and I really appreciate it. And good luck to anyone that's listening to this. And be safe, be well, and take care of yourselves.